Hello and welcome back to ESA Cup Season 7. Today, we have some games at hand that are going to be very, very fun to watch. And, well, I'm joined by a new whiskey.
That's right. Filling in for a couple of great casters here, Velocity and my friend Whiskey Glitter. But joining you today, my name is Whiskey Ron, a familiar face on the Siege Double Shot, but new to the ESA. I'm glad to be here, Nosh.
Yeah, it's nice to see you, man. Obviously, I've heard of you. I know you're a very good friend of Glitter's, but I haven't really seen much of you sort of in the cast and in the flesh. So it's going to be fun to actually have a nice little experience here and there, and we'll see what we can do. So let's go have a look at the
Absolutely.
brackets. These are the teams we have. Obviously, at the moment, we're going to be watching the MDF versus Kosma game, and as far as I'm aware, it is going to be a best of three. So
That's right. The upper quarterfinals here, getting to see MDF take on Cosma Gaming. And think about Cosma is they say they love the best of three because that is where their strength is. They need that extra map in there for the mental boost that pushes them over the hump when they get into the best of one. So they're a very tough team when we get to the playoff stage here in ESA.
yeah, I'm expecting a lot of momentum, and even if like sort of they kind of lose out on the first map, maybe they can really start pushing forward in towards the second and even the third. So that's going to be really cool to see. Um, and alongside,
Do you have I was gonna say MDF, they've
yeah,
got five players with some great game sense though. So I imagine that they are gonna be able to adapt to this Cosmo gaming strategy here. Even though they consider the best of three to be in their favor, I think MDF is gonna try and push back on that because they want to win this quarterfinal today.
yeah, exactly. And just to remind everyone of what's happened with the teams while we've been away, just before we went away, we had, I think it was, EOS were picked up by Votum. And then I'm pretty sure just after or just before we left again, um, well, they got dropped by Votum and are now under the alias of NIP. Wii Sports have changed to Entropy as of recently, and Flawless 7 are possibly under the Votum name. We're not entirely certain 100% on that yet, but we'll be finding out sometime soon. I'm fairly sure. So let's go have a look at these maps. And tell me what you think, Whiskey.
That is a lot of changes in this playoff team bracket just in the last couple months. I mean, three of the eight teams having possible org changes here. That's a little wild, my friend. But going into a best of three, what I love to see, Consulate to start off. I love getting to see the new maps in the map pool here for competitive play. Consulate, Nighthaven, fantastic. We're getting a chance to see those, and then heading to my personal favorite, Chalet. I freaking love that map, and it's I love that it's in the competitive pool still, and that we're gonna get to see it here today.
Well, something I would like to quickly just take into account is the fact that, well, we are going to be seeing that sort of like real combatant between these two teams. So I'm not sure if we're able to go to the game as of just this moment, but
It's
it's
about
definitely
ready
going to
to
be
go, yeah.
phenomenal to watch.
Going to Oregon, I would really love to see one of these two teams take it at before we have to get to Oregon, but you know, we'll see how it goes. We're getting into the game right now, my friend.
Indeed, we are. As we load into these operator bands, I'm a bit less versed on Consulate, so this might be one for you to take away. So, what do you think we're going to be seeing on this band phase?
Okay, so consulate. If we take a look just general here for ESA, how the bands have been working out, still Ying across the board. Every league I cast in banned out north of 50%. Here, 58%. So I think that she is definitely likely, even as we roll into consulate, which is a new map. First is going to be that Ram, though. Love seeing her on the board. I mean, her ability to clear all of that breachable floor, especially in the 1F site when the attackers are taking the basement, huge play. So she's not going to be available, though. Um, Boy, Ying, this league's got some interesting ones with Nook and Monty being high on the list. I wonder if it's going to be one of those.
Well, I'm not sure, sort of like, whether you sort of revolve around casting PC or like console, but obviously with it being a console league, there's a few different mechanical changes and differences that come into the game. So, things like Ying and stuff like that that are very highly present usually tend to be the ones that get rid of. So Solace is one that we expect to see, and then more than likely we're going to see a Fenrir or an Azami, unless they go for some wild target ban.
Yeah, Solus, 70% of the game. She's almost never played in console, apparently. Fenrir, like you
She was
said,
like almost
54.
100% in like stage one. By the way, it's
That is
crazy.
wild. Okay, so Fenrir or Azami, and you called it Azami. Yeah, she's got a pretty high ban rate too. So Ram, Ying, Solus, and Azami off the board as we head into consulate round one.
Well, um, we are going to
Well,
be jumping to a little pause because unfortunately we're having some connection issues from one of the MDF players, but we should be able to jump straight back into it sometime soon.
you know what's
Looking,
exactly the same between the console and PC? Server issues from Ubisoft, and
yeah.
you know what? I'm not surprised that we're getting to see that straight off the bat. I mean, it's as high a likelihood as Ying getting banned, I think, at this point.
Oh, definitely. We're just kind of looking, watching, waiting for anything to really go down. But at the moment, just looking at these two teams in general, MDF have had a phenomenal run throughout this tournament so far. And I think that even though it was a little lackluster compared to their previous season performance, I think they're definitely going to be coming to the table with a lot of strength and a lot of prowess because they've had time to really work on the mistakes they were making and things like that. And on the opposite side of Kosma, you've got players like Shimizu, Reclay, Strobo, who are all three of them clutch legends from the previous playday that we actually got to cast, which was just before Christmas. So these people are very, very well versed against each other. And I think when it comes down to that sort of last minute potential, I think Cosmo are probably going to take this game away.
Seems like it. The way you're talking about, I haven't had a chance to see this team in action, but with the clutch potential being such an important part of Rainbow Six Siege, after the team mechanics fall apart, which eventually they do, it'll be interesting to see how they play it out. Tell me, the one thing that I also haven't seen, how much is Tubarão being played here in console? Because he's not banned out, but not being picked.
We have a fun little revelation that I was literally just now going to bring up because I saw it in the live text chat, and I should probably actually say something. Tubarão is played relatively frequently inside of the console leagues because he's really powerful. And I mean, I've spoken about this before in my own time. When played correctly, Tubarão is stupidly broken. I think he can be one of the most powerful operators in the game, and I really don't think there is much anyone can really do about him in most situations. But unfortunately, there is a pretty annoying bug right now with Tubarão, with like an instant freeze or like something like that. That I'm not too sure what
The
it does.
FPS slowdown.
Yeah, I think it's probably that. So he's going to be quarantined for the foreseeable future. We don't know how long, probably until it's fixed, but we'll have to see.
Ah,
Um,
interesting. In the NAPC leagues, for the most part, we have seen a few leagues and a few teams go with this, like this idea that he, even though he's not banned out, they have a gentleman's agreement to not play him. So I think that
yeah,
a lot of times that works where the league didn't step in and say you absolutely can't because of the FPS bug, but we're not going to, they don't want to be detrimental to each other because you're right. When he's played well, paired with one of those breach deniers like Bandit or Kaid, he can be really devastating on the sites that need those kind of open breaches like Clubhouse and some places in Chalet. So it's been a gentleman's agreement. Let's not play him in a few different leagues. So that's an interesting stance. I like the way that ESA is handling it. And until we can get that him fixed, let's just keep him out of the pool for now. I like it.
Well, I think there's still a lot of potential for operators to really disrupt the way the game is played, and I think they don't really need to rely on this sort of tuber route, especially when it comes to a map like Consulate. Consulate is one of those that is much more sort of creative in the way it's played. A lot of teams are copying G2. There's a lot of teams that are currently copying the Brazilian rosters because obviously the Brazilian rosters are doing so well on the new maps right now. And then
Yep.
things like that. We're going to be really just seeing how they actually want to pull this through for themselves. Like what sort of playstyle they're going to be going for. I think one of the really good playstyles I've seen so far. Obviously, it didn't really work very well, but one of the good playstyles I've seen so far that definitely could have worked with a few minor tweaks is the BDS playstyle of just being overly aggressive but playing on the site, and I think that could really work out.
And it's interesting. We're seeing them go here to the basement. At least that's what they're showing initially. My guess is that's where they're going to stick here because that top floor site, even when you play very aggressively and you play on site, there are so many different ways to attack that 2F site here on Consulate that we've really seen a major drop off in the amount of play that the 2F site gets because a couple quick plant locations, the upper breach upstairs, there's definitely a lot of ways you can approach it. So for the most part, even on the aggressive defensive teams, even playing on site, you just see that it's not as viable, certainly as the basement and first floor. So it's been, for the most part, relegated almost to a tertiary, which is interesting for a 2F site.
Indeed. Well, we are kind of still having a little bit of a technical issue right now, so we're gonna be seeing what we can do sometime shortly. We're gonna be going to just a short break right now, just to save you guys the time of day, so you can breathe and not have to listen to us be dorky for too much longer. So
Plus, it
we'll see you
almost
sometime
always
soon.
works that as soon as we go to a break, the player comes right back in. So we'll take a quick break and be right back.
Yo, okay, we had the Azami ban that we didn't really talk about, but brought it up now. So we've got like all of the bans. Everyone's in the server. We're about to play. Ron, are you excited?
Finally got 10 people in the same lobby. That feels a bit special at this point. So happy to see it finally. Here we are kicking off this best of 3 on Consulate. And if you're just joining us, quarter-final match between MDF and Kosma Gaming. Let's go.
Indeed, we will. Looks like we're just getting set up right now. They are just going to be playing on this basement site, and one pick that I feel very strongly about is the Shimizu Blitz pick. I think this is going to be a full-on rush through the backside and see if they can get themselves in and integrated through server more than likely. But if not, there might be a final resort through the staircases, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, is it going to be this? Is it going to be the rush blitz play, or is it going to be the slow setup blitz play that sometimes we see in the basement of Oregon? I don't know that I've seen blitz on Consulate very often.
Neither do I, but I know that he's utilized on this backside to really just disrupt the roaming defenders that are over towards the server side. We are seeing Thermite right now just to make his way over onto the main breach. And yeah, there is going to be 3 people huddled around this server wall ready to take their engagement and get themselves into the building. So
That's right. I love this backside push here in the basement, right? Start, don't worry about top down clear, but clear yourselves in from the backside here of the building and over.
we got a TK already. Um, I don't know quite what happened, but Strobo down, NS. So we're going to be seeing Shimizu make his way down these side stairs, see if he can get himself through into the server side. And as he has, no contention has met him just at this moment. The Warden going to be tucked right around the corner, ready to take that engagement. Klezri finds his head. And now with the Bandit getting ready to trick on the wall, and well, the Fenrir on the opposite side. Shimizu going to have a bit of contention from Nikon on those spiral stairs, and potentially Aina going to be on the receiving end of it as well.
I mean, it's the beauty about the blitz, right? You can do roam clear, you can push yourself in without fear of just getting wasted by a defender that's caught from a strange angle, but got him playing on stairs. Lesion's up there on Spiral. Still got Fenrir, so we're going to see this push come in through the backside of the site here. Pushing up, and Blitz taking some fire, trying to make his way and push those defenders back.
Yeah, Aina on the head hole is going to be swinging around onto the door. Funk manages to find Shimizu, and that's going to be the blitz down. A very big pick for these defenders. They're going to want to try and keep themselves in tucked, safe positions now, just to try and see if they can catch out any of the remaining attackers that are going to be trying to get themselves forward. Reclay doesn't quite know about the man on his right, but is going to be checking it, finds him out, and now is in a bit of an engagement, a bit of a scuffle as the Legion tries to take the swing. Loses out. Pleasure on the backside as well. We're going to be seeing Variox on the shield at the very end, and well, they have no real way to deal with it as of right now. Smoke goes out, but it's... Oh no, it's a flashbang actually that's caught by the magnet, but doesn't quite flash out the one. And
flash the attacker. Yeah, that was unfortunate. It was a self-flash because of the magnet, but great pinch there from the Ion and Thermite together, and he's flashed again. Oh, that's a double team flash. That's an unfortunate way to start. So now down to a 2v1. 2v none. The defenders take that one.
Indeed they do. A beautiful little defense by these, well, by the side of Kosma. Or not Kosma, the other side, MDF. They managed to really set themselves up in these positions to be able to catch out these players. And I think more than likely, there was a little bit of luck involved when it came down to the Fenrir actually taking out the blitz, because he took the swing on the door a little preemptively and possibly... well, could have lost his life if the blitz was a little bit more ready for that. But instead, we're going to be going up to the top floor this time.
Wing or be swung, and Bliss was the unfortunate loss there in that case. But the other thing was just we didn't see the attackers clear out enough of the defender utility. See this routinely as one of the win conditions. If you can keep all of that defender utility in place as a defense, significantly higher chance to win that round. That deployable shield at the end of the hallway there on the way into the garage, big piece of that defender's setup, and it definitely was part of the reason they won that round. How much defender utility can this attacking team clear out here? Now, going upstairs, sometimes one of the sites we don't see frequently on PC. See if that's a different story here in the ESA.
Well, the initial reason we didn't see it on PC was because G2 made it so present on the vertical pressure. They would play below with the nades and things like that, but now nades have been changed. It might become a bit more of a prominent site.
True. I love the change, though. I know we bounce back and forth between this a lot, but seeing the fact that, that you've got, you know, the nades now that force defenders out, they create action as opposed to just creating kills. They create action by having the defenders move or utility cleared, and I like it.
It just worries me that we're going to end up back in a 20-second meta, but hopefully that won't be the case, and instead we'll just see more of this tactical utility style play, and that's all we can really ask for. But as one Kludge
Speaking of that utility play there, that Kludge drone, like you mentioned, I don't know whether or not she was able to grab any of that utility, but so far they've got the bandit down. Is he going to be able to trick it?
Don't know, but the Ash is going to be below. No, he's not. Nope, the Ash actually going to deny him.
Nice play from below by Ash. Great work there. So now, Brava, she's still got one Kludge left. Any more utility that she's going to be able to steal? That's that tactical piece you were talking about.
Yeah, the Kludge drones are so effective in some of these situations because they're just so good at being able to take on this utility and really just be able to abuse the fact that they're bringing along these operators like Fenrir, like Wamai, in order to really just turn the tides against them a little bit from the attacker's perspective. But speaking about from the attacker's perspective, Strobo gets in a bit of a scuffle with AN, loses his life. And now we're going to be seeing a 5 versus 3. The attacker's going to be in a bit of a scuffed situation and potentially could be trying to get themselves into a bit more of a scuffle, as we do see Reclay jump out the window, try and take the engagement on bathroom door, or on bathroom window, but instead it's Variox to put him on the receiving end, as he's now going to be holding close to that window.
Talked about that in the setup, that MDF was a game of gunners. I would have put my money on Dokkaebi winning that 1v1 versus Frost downstairs. But here it is. They've done it again. Another Verox win. And MDF looking pretty good from a gunner perspective. They've gone up 2-0 to start this one off. But Kosma Gaming, they said they like the best of three. They like getting their mental in the right place and winning the long term. So probably not too unhappy by going down 2-0 to start.
I mean, definitely not. They managed to really put a bit of fruition or a bit of footing into the first round, at least. And I think that really goes to show how powerful this team can actually be, especially considering the sort of skill diff, in quotation marks, that people seem to apply to both of these rosters. Because you've got MDF, who just are such a powerful, like, staple roster, as we've seen so far in, well, the last couple ESA tournaments, and it's it's coming down now to the opposite side of Kosma really just showing their worth, proving themselves to us and proving themselves to MDF that they do have the power to be able to come in here and, rock the boat.
One of the things I love about Consulate too is that it's the only map in the competitive pool in Rainbow Six Siege. It's got the bomb site split floors, right? Seeing the basement and the 1F site. I love the fact that we get to see that here on this map. Really changes up how both of the sides approach the attack and defense of this map. And so close here to Secret. Going to see them definitely, the attackers, make an important push down the stairs. And we saw Ash. They've already got that wall open. Ash making her presence known downstairs to start.
We see Variox over by this main door at the moment, but he's just putting up a barricade. At the moment, the defenders are mostly situated on the lower floor, and more than likely for the reason that they want to play vertical, but also the attackers seem to be coming in from this cafeteria side, from this long corridor side, to see if they can find anything for themselves. And, well, speaking of finding things for themselves, A&M manages to find one. And, well, HCRV manages to quickly pick one up for himself as well. So now we're going to be in a position where the attackers are once again in this 3 versus 5. So it's not looking great.
It was unfortunate there for Simishu. Had spent a lot of time droning, got a ton of intel on exactly where the defenders were playing, got off the drone, and at the last second shot just barely there by the Val covering that position. So spent all that time gathering intel, not able to convert it into a kill. 4v3 as we enter almost this last minute of gameplay.
Indeed, we do manage to see Strobo get one for himself, and first kill of the game does manage to bring it a little closer to that man count equalization. We're going to be seeing him creep up on the far right side. They find the kill onto HCRV, and, well, he's going to be hit by a goo mine. Nikon's going to know where he is, but Nikon's location is also known, as now the Buck is going to be on this goo mine. Manages to get the kill with a skeleton key and manages to put his team in a man advantage, but the health still in advantage for the defenders. They are 3-0, 4-0, and Variox. If there's two people you want alive in this clutch situation, it's going to be those two, and one of them has a 80 round mag in that Alder, as Aina is just being a problem on the opposite side. He finds one, and, well, now we're in a 1 versus 2. Strobo has it all to do. If he manages to find these 2 kills, he will be positive here. If he only finds one, then he's going to be negative. And, well, the first kill is going to go the way of Aina and end the round.
Great distraction there with the Pokeball coming out, the impact nade, opening up the wall. Gridlock swings, but no, Mai was ready for that. Defense going up 3-0, and to me, that looked very clean. They had themselves set up in positioning upstairs, even with the full attacker push down through the basement. They're split both sides of that map. Ash losing out early so that way she couldn't put any backside pressure on that bomb site as the attackers pushed was unfortunate, and definitely did not help them at all, and put them at a significant disadvantage going in. So now we see, going into round 4, MDF already up 3-0.
Yeah, kind of crazy, but Something you do kind of expect from these newer maps is that like sort of defender-sidedness that does kind of come along with them, because they're a little bit more undiscovered for a lot of these attacking sides. So we'll have to wait and see to see how they perform on their attack. But at the moment, we've gone through a full site rotation for this defending side of MDF, and we're going to be a little worried as to how the side of Kosma are actually going to be able to bring themselves back into this matchup. They have a bit more of a default lineup this time, bringing along the Hibana, more than likely going to be over on this opposite side. Instead, it's Klezzery with the hard breach charges in pocket. It's going to be just opening up with the can opener to see if he can get himself through into the backside. And Twitch is going to be over there as well, so more than likely a relatively full push on this server clear.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, right? New map, defensive sided. Just looking at the ESA in general, 60% defensive win rate here for Consulate, but it's only been played 6 times. Like compared to Clubhouse, Clubhouse made 4 times as many. So definitely, but also defensive sided. So Consulate 60% defensive win rate. At least we want to see this attacking team grab one to be comfortable. They do not want to go into their defensive half down 6-0. That's a pretty almost an insurmountable difference. So as we roll into round 3, looking for the orange team, this Cosma Gaming to get at least 1, hopefully 2.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a way you can be too comfortable without getting at least like a 5-1, 4-2 half here, so they're going to really be trying to hunt for that now. They don't want to lose any more rounds without finding any for themselves, and we're just seeing a few engagements go either way right now. Klezzery manages to find the first onto Nikon, and that's going to be a really good start for the attacking side. Kosma going to be trying to make their way forward as the, well, Track's fingers are being shot. He's afraid of it being vertical, but doesn't quite seem to be the case, and, well, Havana's going to be going around opening up these hatches. These players just having little bits of engagements on either side right now, and Bandit going to be falling off his trick in order to be able to take a bit more of an aggressive stance on that side. And, well, Thermite gets himself in an engagement, loses out to the man in kitchen, and, well, there goes Fenrir. Another one soon to follow as Strobo manages to get himself a double kill in the round, and it's going to be really hard for the defensive side to come back from this, especially with Variox going down. Alex going to be the last man standing. Buck tries to take the swing, but doesn't quite see the man inside of the room. Finds him eventually, and that's going to be the round for Cosmo.
When the attackers were finally able to open the reinforced wall that Fenrir and Bandit had been playing, both times they played in the basement, very much centered on keeping that wall closed and preventing those sight lines into the cafeteria. Once they finally got that open, that's exactly what the attackers need. It would have put long pressure into sight, even though they didn't take down the deployable at the end of the hallway. Buck was still able to get a couple good shots off there at the end. And Cosma Gaming grabbing their first, and maybe that's the mental buff they needed here to start the climb back. We'll see whether or not it's a momentum shift or just a blip in the radar here on MDF's role on their defensive side.
Yeah, so with them managing to find that first round, it is going to put themselves in a little bit of a better position, but realistically, in order for it to not feel like a comeback, they're going to want at least one more. And, well, with 2 attempts on the table for them to actually give it a shot, there's definitely potential here.
There is. Now going up the stairs, this is that 2F site that is a little bit difficult. Nobody spawning on the gas side, so you're going to see the attackers push in mostly from the front of the building at this point.
Does look to be the case. We do see a little bit of a more Visa side style of take. We do have Shimizu below, and he's managed to get himself. I can't speak English. He's managed to get himself in quite early this time in order to be able to deny out this bandit trick, but he isn't going to be there. And, well, he is just kind of hovering around, questioning whether he should go for it, but instead decides against it. Reclay finds the first kill onto Variox, and, well, that's going to open things up for these attackers once again. Thermite going to be in a bit of a questionable position. Replay not knowing really what to do as of this very moment, but decides to just hop on Repel and see if he can hold on to an angle while his teammates try and get control of this Visa side, or this admin side, sorry. But a beautiful shot from HC manages to take out Zoro. Good start.
Yeah, that was the upside down rappel. I was about to say for Thermite, a great way to get a long angle into sight. Good play on his side, but then the defense taking advantage of the upside down rappel on that Visa side. So yeah, one down so far. It's a 4v4 to start. Still working on. They got to clear out some of this utility. There's the Fenrir gadgets. There's the deployable. That watch out for those frost mats as well. But they've got themselves a little bit of map control here, finally up on 2F.
I will say one thing, and that is the fact that I'm so surprised that we haven't seen a mirror on this top floor site yet. Because mirror has just always seemed to be such a staple pick, but it looks like HCRV manages to get himself in a bit of a nice position and hits a beautiful shot in order to find that kill on the far side. Well, he's going to be trying to look for more. As the shield is dealt with over towards Vending, they're just going to be trying to take those engagements. The man doesn't quite know when to fall off and gets taken out by Klesery. HCRV going to be trying to take a bit more of an engagement. Once again, seeing if he can take the swing onto Klesery and find that kill for himself. But with it being this 2v3 situation, it's going to be very difficult for these attackers to actually get themselves in to where they need to be. And well, both men fall very, very suddenly. And that's going to be the round done, dusted in favor of these defenders.
What an angle that Bandit there, the one punch hole open to be able to grab the kill. That was a great play there by the defense, but I thought for a second there after we saw the attacking team finally clear out some of that utility, they had a ton of map control there on the Visa side of the map, pushing in, but just a couple good shots from the attackers. That's the gunners you were talking about. They made it look pretty good, and now we go into round 6, last round of the half here with MD up 4-1 over this attacking Cosmic Gaming team.
Yeah, the boogeyman just really stepping up right now. They've got these high kill counts in the game so far, and really they're just going to be trying to carry that forward. We've got this 7-1 on Ano right now. The man of the hour going to be really showing off his worth. So we'll have to see how he performs, you know, in the future map, because you know burnout does happen. People tend to struggle the longer a match goes on, and some people tend to thrive. So we'll have to see if Kosma can bring themselves into this in the later end of this match, or even in the next map.
Well, when Fenrir is played really well, and it's what we're seeing today here, this using the gadgets to hold pitch points, using it to force the attackers into some specific places, and able to play off of his gadgets and get some advantage from that utility. He's doing a great job of that so far, and making his presence known. Yeah, taking a couple shots there on the defense, but no, gonna
I think he
try and
might.
get it open.
I think he might have taken a couple shots there from his teammate. But
I
the hatch is open.
I thought that impact trick worked. I thought they were able to clear off that can opener, but no, it gets opened and they're gonna get garage too.
Oh, oh my god! I thought they weren't going to get it then, but Strobo actually was it Strobo that managed to find that kill from the hatch? I think has managed to take out the
Yes.
bandit, and now he's going to be looking to find more on the vertical. But Klazery does fall as he's making some vertical of his own, and well, Strobo finds another one from the hatch. The Wamaya Variox tries to make his way over onto the other side, and then Impact comes out from Nikon in order to give a rotation for HCRV to actually get himself through onto that first floor and see if he can play the verticals for himself. But Strobo doesn't quite seem aware, going to be prone on the drone, trying to take the engagement, doesn't
Oh,
quite find it as the pillar gets in his way. The Thermites manage to make his way all the way through onto site, and the Legion's going to be the last man standing, finds the first. Is he going to be able to find the full 1v4? Knows there's going to be someone sitting around on these vertical angles and is very unsure about what he wants to try and take. Takes a swing onto the rotate and loses out to replay.
yeah, with not very much area on the map, he was gonna be able to move without either a defender downstairs or one from above. That was a key engagement there between the warden and the gridlock upstairs. Warden really needed to be able to grab that and take away that vertical control. That was a big piece of why they were able to get the garage door open. So having everyone concentrated downstairs there and then trying to retake the top with Warden didn't work out in their favor. And Kosma Gaming grabbing their second as they hit into their defensive half at a 60% defensive win rate. It's a pretty good place to start, but based on how this is going, they're feeling a little bit more evenly matched as we get into the midpoint of this first game in this best of 3.
Yeah, the one thing that does become a little unforgivable as you get to this halfway point is the fact that, well, Zoro's on 0 kills, and understandably kills aren't everything, especially in a game as tactical as Siege. It still feels like he needs to find his footing a little bit in comparison to some of the other players, and once he does, I'm sure we're going to be seeing a much stronger Kosma coming into the rest of this game.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And we'll see how some of these players, like you said, definitely very one-sided at this point. I like that attacking lineup we're seeing them start off with, right? The Jackal. We talked about Blitz being a big piece of, roam clear with his ability to walk into areas confidently because he's not going to get shot. Jackal kind of has that same ability. He can walk into those rooms knowing whether or not someone has been there by seeing their footprint. So big piece of important roam clear utility here brought by the attacking team. And with no Solus to suss out when he's on that gadget directly, that makes him feel a lot more confident being able to stay on his gadget consistently.
Indeed, we're going to be seeing the IQ just spotting out a couple of things, and well, that drone is going to be one of them. Shimizu tries to take a rotation across admin, gets caught out by Nikon, as now we're going to be seeing Nikon just make his way onto the roof and get ready to rotate down into admin and get these breaches on the go.
I don't know if we were able to get, Mozzie was able to get all of his drones stolen there. Did he use all of his utility or die with any of it in pocket? Either way, he's off the board early, and it's a 5v3 here. The attackers putting up a pretty good fight, and right now, a bit of an overwhelming force here coming from the west side. Visa pushing towards site.
Yeah, we're seeing a bit of a scuffle right now go on between this Nomad, as we saw Cade a minute ago get caught on those admin stairs, and we're going to be seeing a little bit of just back and forth on this far side, but everyone on his team is just dying, filtering themselves into these tight angles and just getting caught. Well, Alex comes in for the final kill, and that's as I said, the round over, but we're going to be moving on to the next round with a little bit more of a worry for the side of Kosma. They're going to be wanting to try and rejig themselves, get themselves back in to the actual match itself, because at the moment they seem to be really struggling.
Oh, the thing we saw there at the top again, that important push coming through the Visa and crossing that midpoint hallway, seeing the Flores drone come out, they had a mute jammer. The defense had the mute jammer down. I think that was Klez who had that one out. Unfortunate that the mute jammer was not quite close enough to the shield to be able to protect it from the Flores drone. So as soon as that shield went down, Frost had to rotate herself back, empty her clip, and was eventually taken out before being able to get a kill off of that defensive position. So see whether or not the combination of, well, it depends. I don't know. The site that he wants this shield at is absolutely pixel perfect, and he's found it. Warden, you've done it, my guy.
A little tip and trick for anybody trying to do things like that in ranked: if you look straight down while placing your shield, you have a much smaller area of where it will link to walls and door frames. So that's a little trick that a lot of these competitive players use that is surprisingly less known than I thought it was.
It's one of the reasons why I love casting competitive Siege, man. We're constantly adding some strats to the ranked book here, and that's one of them. Look down when you're placing the shield. Good call, Naj.
Well, speaking of good calls, these teams are going to be communicating that they want to try and find these rounds. Kosma in favour of trying to get themselves back into this game, and MDF in favour of ending it here and now and moving on to map number 2. But we are going to be seeing, once again, these teams just kind of chill, stick around, play a little bit safer. The Cade Claw is on the table, and I love this, because you can't shoot through this table.
Wow, well, see, write it down. That one is definitely going in the strat. IQ not going to be able to hit it because of the table.
That actually comes from a G2 strategy. for anyone that doesn't know, G2 had a strategy where Cade was banned on this map, I'm pretty sure, and they ran mute, and they just put a mute jammer on that table, and it reaches the wall just enough for them to think it's completely muted, and then they just go away. That was exactly what happened in the matchup that G2 played, and it was absolutely phenomenal. Really enjoyed it. I think more than likely we're going to be seeing a little bit more of fun things come out of that sort of position, and that Cade Glory is definitely one of them. Cade might become a staple band from here on out.
Well, and I mean, if you're trying to use Flores maybe to try to clear out that and maybe get an explosive drone in there, there's really no good way into that room as the attacker is trying to get it up. There's so many places that the defenders can shoot that drone as it tries to get in there, clear that off.
Oh my God!
Try and take some control. Window bang. Even if he knew the defender was there, that was just a great shot.
What started as a free opening pick for these defenders has ended in a 1 versus 4. He's found 1 kill for himself, knows he's got an injury on the top of this spiral staircase, and is going to be trying to make his way in through the split connector, but the IQ on the bathroom side door is going to be able to find that kill on Cade and secure the round for the attackers. That was absolutely phenomenal from Variox.
Yeah, great play there. And even with the 5.52 nerf, IQ still able to do plenty of damage there as Cade walks up the stairs, watching for the other defender. And I can't believe it. Already, we're finding ourselves on match point here. MDF up 6-2 versus this Kosma Gaming team. Where they're going to try their last potential defense downstairs in the basement. Garage cafeteria.
Indeed they are, and well, it's a very defender-sided site, but are we going to be seeing that today, as we are going to be just watching, waiting to see how they can actually perform, but they have got a bit of a different operator lineup this time. They're bringing along the castle, which usually means they're not planning on playing over on this server side. Instead, they're going to have the hatches open and have Oryx play above. They're going to have no one else really play over that side, and maybe the Mozzie will linger a little bit, but won't really commit too hard. You're going to have the castle barricades mostly committed over towards that side. You're going to have one on this yellow door, so they can play below it and, you know, get some cheeky little feet angles. And, well, it's just looking a little bit more like a complete hard bunker here.
I like it. So we got Oryx is up here on that 2F site trying to make his presence known. And the slowdown there from Castle, we've seen him played pretty pick rate definitely increase. But sitting at 1-7 so far, his utility bringing more than the kill count. And maybe it's going to need to try and change that if they're going to help push this team over the edge. To win, and they need another round. Otherwise, they got to be perfect for 4 in a row here to take MDF down.
Well, just for anybody that isn't aware, I would like to also add, while we have a little bit of downtime at the beginning of this round, just because of the way the system works, and, you know, it's a default system that's used everywhere, but we are currently watching first place, which is MDF, from the Swiss standings, versus 8th place, which is the lowest team in the... or the lowest team that made playoffs, should I say. But we see one on each team has been found right now. That attacker almost gets himself caught out by the warden on the top floor, as he doesn't quite decide to take the peek, and we're going to be seeing the hatch get opened on the opposite side. But, as I was saying, these teams did play against each other previously inside of this cup, and in fact, it was in the previous stage that they actually did, and it was 7-2 in favor of MDF when they did.
Wow. Maybe some siege poetry here as they trade out, but so far right now, Kosma Gaming trying to find it. They found a couple of these extra kills. It's all on Nikon and what's that? Aina?
Yeah.
Aina.
There's also
Trying
Oregon
to find
that
their
they
way
played.
in. Ah, okay.
So
Oryx dashing himself into the garage, trying to get themselves positioned. They're in a pretty good position here. We still have the attackers repositioning, trying to find their way. If they didn't clear out that castle barricade. No? Oh,
a beautiful shot from Ina, though, as now he wants to get this castle barricade dealt with. We do have the man over on the backside towards cafeteria. The cam is going to get shot out as well. Einar finds another one for his troubles. Klezri falls. The man jumps in
no!
through the yellow door, finds the kill on the refrag. Nikon going to be moving this so much further forward for his team and taking us to map number 2.
Yeah, seeing that finally come out, clutching that one up, I thought that was probably the defense's best opportunity there. They were very close, making it look good, but no, unfortunately, not going to happen. We're going to see MDF take that one, just like you said, some siege poetry. 7-2.
Indeed, 7-2 once again. Consulate and Oregon, the last 2 matches in this cup that they've played against each other, have been completely the same. It's
So this
very
is a best of 3. We've seen Consulate go down at 7-2, MDF taking that first piece of lead. Now we're going to be heading to Chalet. We talked about those map bans coming in before during the setup. We're definitely running a little bit behind schedule with all of the issues going on. So I imagine the teams are going to be anxious to get in that second map set up. So we head ourselves to the Swiss Alps and seeing Chalet.
indeed we will be. So in a very short while, once we actually get everything ready and we get everybody together, we are going to be doing that. But for now, let's go to a short break. We'll see you guys on the
Let's
other
go, my
side.
friend.
Yo, we're back. Welcome back. It's me and Run once again. Basically, we had some connectivity issues. The German servers decided to die, but they're back, and now we have our 2 observers and also everyone on both teams, rather than doing a 5v3 or delaying the game. Osa's banned first. Do you want to run us through the rest of the bans, Whiskey Run?
Absolutely. And what a day. Not surprising to see the Ubisoft servers go down as much. The big surprise was the fact that like it looked like
Going down
all
more
of
than me right
Germany
now.
was down there. Was for like that entire the entire time we were offline was trying desperately to get people in the lobby. So now we roll into Chalet. Love seeing Chalet as part of the competitive pool we talked about. My favorite map. Osa's off the board. Ying continues her incredible streak as one of the most banned ops in competitive play, joined by Fenrir. And I think to me, Fenrir was a bit of a target ban there because the ESA MDF team had been playing him to great effect. Fenrir was devastating on that last map in Consulate. So deciding, all right, we want to get him out of the pool and joined by Solus. And you talked about how vital Solus is on the console and why she continues to be such a huge ban as well. So that Fenrir seems like the big target along with Iosa.
Yeah, just because of the way the mechanics and like the way peeking works on console, Solus has always been a much more valuable ban than Azami, whereas on PC, it's kind of the opposite. So it's one of those where you kind of debate on which one you'd rather not have in the game, and a lot of the times, out of all of the different operators on console, you usually want Solus off the board. So we are going to be seeing a mirror in this matchup. As I said, we probably could have seen in the previous one if it had gone a little longer. And, well, we'll have to see how they decide to play it. But it looks to me right now they're going to have the box mirror that watches in towards kitchen, and more than likely one of these top floor mirrors somewhere.
Yeah,
Oh
agreed.
no, they're going to
And
have the West Main mirror, I think.
I think to me, not surprising that we're seeing the first floor site with a heavy defensive presence upstairs, right? It's just
Yeah.
this massive shift we've seen in Chalet, moving to the first floor as almost the main sites here with this heavy vertical play. It's the age of verticality in Rainbow Six Siege, and the defensive team setting themselves up there, but no, a spawn peak to start.
And it's from mud window too. Jeez. Trying to look for one more, isn't able to find it. Buck comes on the back end. Klezery on this Buck, as usual, does manage to find that kill for himself. Doesn't quite realise the man on the default cam is going to be spotting him out, but does shoot it out nonetheless afterwards. And well, just a little bit of a angle coming towards this basement just to see if he can spot anyone and, you know, maybe catch someone off guard from the off angle. But as we see the hard breach going off upstairs, they are going to be trying to get both of these breaches open ASAP in order to try and get the map control that they need. Well,
It feels like they got a ton of map control from these attackers quickly, right? They grabbed the entire east side of the map. It seemed like almost instantly. We had the kill in mud, but then after that, Buck and Gridlock basically had the whole east side locked down. So they've got it. They've got library, they've got fireplace, they've got the tracks blocking off the whole hallway heading to top blue. So this looks very good from a setup. And Dokkaebi downstairs trying to make sure there's no roamers playing in the basement to put any vertical pressure here on this attack as they get themselves set up downstairs.
yeah, also potentially going to be wanting to try and apply that pressure up the west main stairs eventually, but they're going to want to try and get themselves a bit further entangled into this top floor. But at the moment, they have managed to push back the one Mai. The Frost still going to be hovering around, and she has now been spotted by Klezery as he tries to take the swing round. They're losing players on the defense, though, as Aina manages to equalize and, you know, find one for himself. It's still going to be a 3v2 in favor of these attackers, so they are going to be on the front foot. And, well, the defenders are really going to have to try and start making a move here. The plant is going down. The man jumps onto the bed, tries to take the swing onto the man in piano, knows that he's there, but doesn't quite know about the man that is on the opposite side. Dokkaebi has got cams, but isn't quite able to, you know, give the information needed in order to deny this echo drone, and the Thermite's still going to be trying to find an apt position to go for this plant.
Classic here. Look at this. Even though Dokkaebi knows exactly where the plant is happening, it's going down. Echo able to deny it twice with the drone, once with the gun, but unfortunately they're pinged out like crazy. Echo not gonna make himself, not gonna be able to WASD his way out of there. Caught in the doorway by Buck holding the angle. That was a great try there by the defense. Great individual effort by Echo to try and hold it down, but the attackers come away with one to start us off.
Indeed, they do, as we are going to be heading into round number 2 and seeing how the defenders are able to actually adapt to this sort of aggressive style that Kosma seem to be taking on. And, well,
Yeah, we were thinking that MDF was going to come in swinging again, playing defensive sided. Chalet on the defensive sided here as we roll into the ESA Cup. Just taking a look at that stat. It's 44% defensive win. So I suppose if looking at console ESA specifically in this subset, it's actually a little bit more attacker sided. So maybe that gives a little bit of boost to Kosma as they roll into this one.
indeed, and just quickly taking a look at the map bans, I will just make the stream aware that last map, Consulate, was actually picked by Kosma. And this map was picked by MDF. So we're looking at the moment at two teams that definitely seem to be outperforming the opposite on their own map pick. And Oregon being the final map, we could genuinely see it with the way this is going so far, and I really hope we do, as, well, Strobo manages to deal with the default cam and is going to be trying to make his way over towards this main window. Just probably putting those track stingers on the lower stairs because we are playing on the same site for these defenders. They know there's little presence over towards this sort of library area as well as this downstairs bar side. But are they going to do anything off it?
I like the defense opting for Mira is definitely a fantastic operator for the hold on this site, but switching for more of the intel base, the Echo and the Valkyrie together, plus a little bit of the traps coming out from Thorn. It's a great combo. Echo has just been extremely vital here to this defense. They won. I mean, he was the one that got close enough to winning that round, but wondering whether or not they're going to need some sort of breach denial. It feels like this Cosma Gaming team has really been able to take advantage of getting all these sight lines in without a lot of work.
Yeah, I think the scary thing here for the attackers is just the fact that there is a lot of adaptability, but also the scary thing for the defenders is the fact that they've opted to go for more of this intel utility in order to give themselves a bit of footing in this matchup. But also, because of them going for this more intel-based utility, that was their downfall in the previous round. The fact that they didn't have the intel because, well, Takebi's onside and she managed to secure herself a hack. And, well, with a player falling, if they're able to take the ground that that man was engaged on, they are going to be able to hack on that phone. But with Buck falling, it's going to be a little bit harder to do so, especially with the Thorn retaking that position and now Wamai being pushed out of his own.
Yeah, that's a difference for sure. I mean, we see Dokkaebi banned out almost as much as Ying in the NAPC scene. So the fact that she's being played here, making herself known, stealing the intel, and just playing that devastating DMR, it is a 1v2. The plant is going down, all up to Echo again. He grabbed 4 to hold it off, not able to stop the plant this time. And Thermite also escapes with with his life. So they've got the long angle set up here from Gridlock. Knows exactly where she's at, but not in a position he can take that fight. He's going to lose it again. Boy, Echo trying to carry the world here and not succeeding.
Yeah, beautiful little double from him in that round, but unfortunately it's not quite enough. And, well, there's definitely going to be the argument there that he found his man, and, well, unfortunately it wasn't enough, as I said. Something we did touch on a little bit is some of the information we have about these teams is, well, on the side of MDF, there's too many perfectionists. They're all trying to make sure that nothing really falls out of place, and unfortunately for a matchup like this where, well, Kosma are just really trying to play into the chaos, it becomes very hard for a team like MDF to actually maintain control.
Play into the chaos. I love that. I love that saying. There is definitely an element of chaos into Rainbow Six Siege, especially when the well-laid plans start to go a bit astray, and the only thing that the attacking or defending team do is try and adapt, and that creates chaos. So, love hearing that, and got to find a way for this defensive team to deal with that chaos here, and hopefully their perfectionism not going to get in the way. They do think that they've got this bit of advantage here in the best of 3. So, question is, they're going to be able to pick up their first round here on 3. Or are we going to see the Cosmo Gaming momentum continue to roll in their favor?
Oh, a perfect Vault cam here. They're going to have heard the Vault get off the cams, though, and they're going to know she's nearby. They don't quite know where. She's on the lower half of the stairs, but the drone of the Kebi, I thought she was going to call then for a second, but the drone for the Kebi is going to be just seeing if she can find anything near and around where she is going to be pushing. But at the moment, in the previous 2 rounds, the defensive strategy has pretty much just been hold positions, play site. And the unfortunate thing for the side of the defenders is their plan kind of went awry quite early, and they just started struggling from there on out because they weren't actually able to maintain the control they needed with, well, a man down. But instead, this time around, they've managed to clear out Plezery, who switched off from the book and put himself on the Yana in order to be a little bit more aggressive, more than likely. And, well, these Flores drones are going to be trying to go in to help deal with any of these players in pretty scary or semi-questionable positions.
Do like what we saw this defensive team bring out. We saw Cosmic Gaming use their drone economy pretty well and get the intel themselves, trying to fight back against this very intel heavy team here from MDF in the first one. But bringing out the mute was trying to help you know, that breach now we talked about, and helps deal with the droning here from this team. So far, a little bit more effective because we're sitting at 4v3. There's a minute left. The attacking team still working on getting the control in the right places. He's close to a plant here on this half wall, though. We might be seeing it. Oh, but the shots from below. They've got a little bit of vertical control.
Indeed they do. They're going to be supplying a little bit of cover for the plant now, actually, unfortunately, for the defenders. And, well, do you know why the reinforcements were placed that way on the main breach?
No.
They were placed that way in order to deny the thermite charge, because thermite, I'm pretty sure, can't place his charge in the middle of the wall if they're reinforced like that. But Shimizu cleaning up Variox on the downstairs is going to be a beautiful start for these attackers, especially with them being on the back foot from the very beginning. And now they're going to be looking for even more. It's a 1 versus 3 now, one man down, and well, she's got to get the man off the plant. She's got the goo mine, and it's going to defuse. Oh my goodness.
The goo mine comes in clutch there at the end, and able to find the defuse there, and the defense wins it, even though they were fighting as attackers for the last 30 seconds with just a few seconds remaining. I think 3 they had to make sure that that defuse went down. Great job there by the defending team to deny the round win there, the objective-based gameplay from the attacking team. That was close, though, my friend.
Indeed it was. That round was won entirely off of 1 goo mine, and I mean, realistically, that's not something you can rely on. It's definitely something that can work in a one-time situation like this, but it's really not something that you can expect to happen time and time again. But as they have managed to get themselves off of that site and move themselves around on their site rotation, they are going to be opting to go for bar gaming this time. Oh, excuse me. They are opting to go for bar gaming this time, and that's going to put them in a bit more of a sort of capable position, able to throw off the attackers, because, you know, they're obviously comfortable on this sort of kitchen dining site in order to try and, you know, actually come out of it with a round win. And after they failed it twice, they were forced to really try something else, try something different, and see if they can secure themselves a round win. But something that has changed on the attacking side, at least, is Glazer is back on Buck.
Yep, and again, we're seeing that first floor gameplay right now, just shifting from the master defense upstairs to the library defense upstairs. Gonna see continue this Flores try and clear out that shield top blue. Such an important piece of the defensive utility that they've got to get cleared out. I don't think we saw it was one of the defenders playing in upstairs in that library corner, but trying to gain that library control going to be an important piece, as well as well, my running across the open doorway with a man on rappel. That was a bit of a risky move.
Indeed it was, but, well, the ace is going to be just watching down through this hatch and seeing if he can try and find anything for the equalize, and Alex is no longer choosing to hover around that main lobby area, instead moving himself back into bar and just seeing if he can maybe take some engagements inside of the hallway.
Yep, I thought we were going to see this, the Jaeger gridlock engagement there on the solar stairs. Think he thought there was an opportunity that that no one was sitting on the stairs, but no, what an exchange. Gridlock goes down from the Jaeger. He stays alive as she repels in, and then able to kill Buck down below as well. Huge advantage for this defensive team. They go up 5-2 with 1:10 left.
I mean, we're on for an ace. Variox here gets disrupted by HCRV, and he does manage to find that kill, and it's going to be a flawless round for the side of MDF. MDF equalizing us at 2-2 right now, and I mean, it's definitely looking like they're refinding their momentum. They're definitely able to put themselves back into this game.
And did you catch how much defensive utility was still stacked up at the top blue? They had the frost
Yeah.
mat for the jump in. They had a mute jammer. They had 2 ADSs plus the blue shield that Frost was playing behind. They had that area on absolute lockdown, and the attacking team did not find a way to get themselves through it.
Yeah, very unfortunate, but we are going to be seeing them go back to this kitchen dining site, and potentially see if they can, you know, pull something out of the bag once again. Alex now switching on to the Echo instead of Aina, and Aina are going to be playing on this Frost in order to be a little bit more aggressive. So we're going to be seeing a lot more comfortability picks coming out of the side of MDF, and this is something that I really touched on a lot during the previous few weeks. People seem to not understand, and this is something that teams don't do enough, and that MDF are doing right now, is if someone's having a particularly good day with their aim, just move around the role. And like, let's say someone on entry is having a bad day, someone on support's having a really good day with their aim. Just move around those roles. Put the person that's, you know, not having a good day with their aim on that support role in order to, you know, use the utility and play around that sort of denial, and then have your guy that's having a good day switch onto that entry for a little bit, or even just flex to try and you know, see if they can open things up a little bit more for the team. And it really just helps if you're able to be flexible, because I mean, you're all good players, you all know how to play these roles, so why not just have a bit of fun with it and get yourself in a position where you're most comfortable and you're in the best headspace.
Eh, Definitely a controversial take. I think in general, the competitive teams really get comfortable playing their roles more than they get comfortable playing the ops and the skill level at that moment. But you're right, that would absolutely make teams a little bit more flexible. And the thermite goes down. What a huge piece of the attacking team here. That's the hard breach. They still got 2 can openers left from Buck, but that was a great kill from down here. Dokubi is going to clean up the man downstairs, but the damage is done. It's a minute 40. They're going to have to reposition and try and get Buck in. They've got to get that wall open if they want to have a shot at it from the attacking side.
Indeed they do. It's not going to be an ideal breach with these can openers, but it's going to be a breach nonetheless if they are able to get it done. He does have them still in pocket, so more than likely is going to want to put himself in a position to be able to get down there. And, well, he also does look like he wants to open the hatch. So if he gets the hatch open, he's only going to have one to actually go for this main wall, and it doesn't even look like he wants to go for it. Instead, he's going to be trying to get these vertical angles onto the player that is going to rotate in towards that trophy side, and just checking his angles, making sure he's completely safe before he takes a ballsy swing and ends up losing his life. Speaking of ballsy swings, Zoro takes one, loses his life to Alex, and, well, the players below, as Variox is injured, are going to be just getting that res. So it is going to be a 4 versus 3, but one of these players is going to be one shot away from death. And, well, as I say that, it comes down to a 4 versus 2. Clesery and Strobo, 2 players that have been so powerful in recent matches. Coming into the match that we have at hand right now are the players left standing, and he's going to be trying to find one Strobo onto that Mozzie. He does deal a lot of damage, and he does fall in the end to Clesery this time. And, well, as on the opposite side, Variox is able to find one for himself. Strobo is able to try and get it closer to that equalization. Just Frost and Jaeger left alive as Strobo tries to make his way into the kitchen, isn't able to take the heat, and that is going to be round over. 3-2 now in favor of MDF.
Yeah, unfortunate push it. I mean, Gridlock left all alone playing on the solar with 2 people obviously knowing exactly where she was at. After she got the kill on Echo, for sure, got closer to equalizing it, but with her position clearly known and not enough time to rotate across site, was going to have a tough time pushing in. But that flank and eventual death from Thermite really set the defensive team up there for that win going into it. So now up 3-2, and the original 2 wins there by the Cosmic Gaming team feeling very good. But it's been all MDF here as we roll in, and they got more comfortable on their defense here on Chalet. And I think is this our first time we're seeing the 2F bomb site?
No, second, I think. Because we saw it once before where they planted next to the Ace Breach and it got diffused by the Valkyrie because of one goo mine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the defensive win. So they feel confident going here. They're going to try and take their last defensive round up into this 2F site and not clearing that drone out. Great drone spot. Hidden up there in the plants that we got to see from the observer.
Yeah, indeed, we are going to be seeing these attackers get themselves into position. And, well, as I say that, the man on the bedroom window is going to be trying to go for a spawn peek, I assume, but he gets cleaned up
Yeah.
by Zoro.
Wow, he was feeling good. He was sitting at that 6 and 3. He's okay. I got a 2 KD, and the run out there from Wamai gonna take the hard breach off the board again, leaving them with just the can openers from Buck. And maybe not quite as important here on the 2F site, but still, those sight lines, not gonna have to use them for opening up hatches, but still really puts you know, the attacking team on a bit of a back foot to start.
Indeed, Klazari just moving around this lower solarium area, potentially going to be wanting to try and make his way up the stairs, but the pings on the player from underneath are going to give him a little bit of knowledge of the man's whereabouts. He does back himself up in towards this bedroom, and Zoro finds another one for his troubles. Alex is the one to fall. That's mute down. Doesn't have any active utility. So that's something that I'd like to touch on as well. The two operators they found, probably two of the operators on their team that they'd be happy with losing early, because their utility's down. It's passive utility. It's not utility that they have to like physically activate during the round. So those defenders are actually like the perfect ones you want to lose, if any. Obviously, Legion going down now is going to be a bit of a detriment to the defending side, because, you know, he has active utility that's going to regenerate over time and, you know, be more effective throughout the round as the round goes on. And, well, one of them goes down, and that's going to be the Wamai. The Smoke going to be the last man standing. He's completely separated and isolated from his downed and injured teammate. He's going to try and get himself in. The man on the rotate is going to fall, and HCRV going to be in a bit of an isolated position. They know where he is, and Zoro is able to find that kill for himself in order to win out the round for a 3-3 half.
I was definitely thinking we were going to see Wamai get recovered there, but they had the angle set up between the rotate and the piano window with Flores covering it. He knew that if he was going to try to push in to res the Wamai, that he was going to be able to take down the other defender. That was a good setup there by the attacking team. It felt like the defenders were going to come back and win that, but they take it 3-3 on the half, heading into round 7. We see Kosma Gaming balancing it out. So now we get to see how they do. The question is, we saw 44% defensive win rate, so more on the attacker side here. MDF, like you called it out, the better team generally, the #1 seed coming in. And they're up by 1 map currently. So we roll closer to the end of Chalet. MDF wins, they move on, and Kosma Gaming is done.
Yeah, MDF currently the favorite, or one of the favorites, to actually come out of, well, this league with a win. And, well, with Minions winning it last time around, and I'm pretty sure, just give me 1 second to verify. Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs, I'm pretty sure. But whatever. Either way, we are going to be seeing a lot more of a contention inside of the top 3 for the rest of this. So I think more than likely, Kosma definitely have their work cut out for them if they are able to get themselves in and through on this matchup to start with. But they really have to try and find themselves some sort of opening in this defensive half.
Yep, Ash rotating herself back out of there, getting a little bit too hot. Too many angles being held in place, but there, Strobo taking 1. That's a great place to start for this team. Taking the Ash off the board. We're just talking about the heat getting on to her. Now, the fight downstairs as well. Let's go. Gonna grab a triple? Almost.
Variox is out of there too. Like, that guy just went straight up the ladder and found one onto Zoro to open it up for himself. And, well, you're going to be in a better position now than you ever were before. You're going to have to want to try and get these walls open. You have the ace on side. But are you going to succeed? Sorry, I don't know what's going on. I can't stop yawning. The game's not boring, I promise. I'm actually really into it, really excited. But Variox is going to be on these outside windows.
No worries, friend. I mean, it happens. And here, this fight on Solar, we thought we were going to happen, but no. Not going to. So it's still a 3v2.
Oh
Got the
no.
attackers here. They've got a bit of this solar side control pushing in and opening up some of the basement.
Oh, we love
Oh
this.
no, losing 2 of the ace charges to Wamai, and then the last one jammed out from the mute jammer. That was incredible defensive utility. They had that thing set up long in advance, and it worked perfectly in this last 45 seconds.
Indeed it does. The man in the bathtub, Shimizu, the man who has been very clean throughout this tournament so far, ends up falling but finds a kill for his troubles, and Replay is there to find the final pieces, the dregs of the round, in order to secure themselves another round win and find that opening on defense. We might be looking at a pause here though, because we are down a player. I'm not too
Yes,
sure.
exactly. Still down a player. That's unfortunate. And gonna try and go to
Yeah.
a quick pause and get him back in. The risk is that the German servers were struggling so much. So
I'm
let's
pretty
hope that we
sure we're okay.
can get him back in.
Um, not too certain. Gonna have to find out from our production, but eventually we will. And for now, we'll keep you guys looking at us. So, what are your
What's
thoughts
a
on how this is going so far?
What a great game so far. So MDF, like we talked about in this best of 3, it was sitting here. They've taken that first map, Kosma Gaming, trying to find a way to grab their first, so that way they can push the third, which is going to the decider in Oregon. Um, it was feeling very good there for a few, but MDF really came alive in the second half, the latter half of the first half of that game there, and really equalized, shared some of that momentum. So now we're on the side swap. We saw Cosmo finally get their first defensive win here and push themselves up into the lead again. So this one feels much more balanced back and forth than we saw on that first map on Consulate.
Indeed, and something else that I'd really like to touch on is just the fact that these two teams against each other is it's almost bittersweet, because it's like we see these two teams sort of against each other in round one of Swiss. And obviously, we try and avoid duplicate games unless they're completely forced. But it's like they played against each other last in this league in that round one game where they played Oregon, and it was just entirely a 7-2 steamroll from the side of MDF. And more than likely,
Yep.
we are going to be seeing something similar, but hopefully, we're going to be instead seeing Kosma's revenge tour coming around on, well, as the underdog in this matchup, and really being able to pull things, claw them back. And now they're going to have to take that win on Oregon if they really do want to bring it forward.
Yeah, that's right. And here we are, back in, and unbelievable. All production had to say was, we can go to a break for that player to instantly return. It was perfect timing, exactly the way we thought it might go from the production side. So we don't have to wait any longer. Back into the action. 3 minutes left here as this round starts off. And from a defensive perspective, back bringing the Mira and the Azami. We didn't see a lot of Azami play. First map, she was banned out, and it appeared that MDF, not a big
Yeah.
fan, didn't play her very often. So the Architect, though, on the board here for the Cosma Gaming defense.
She is, and she is very good for this library top floor hold. You can put a lot of pressure onto the top fireplace side with the Azami and really keep yourself well covered without having to really do too much. But the Wamai going to be running down the stairs, almost gets caught out by Aina, but not going to be quite quick enough on the trigger, as we do see a bit of a sort of scuffle go on between those two. The Ace is going to be safe enough to be able to approach the K9 door, and Track Stingers going in are going to be denying that shield. Nate goes through as well, is going to be able to take it down, and they're going to want to try and get themselves a little bit further footed in towards this library hold.
We talked about that top blue being so important with the ton of utility that the defensive team had put there. This attacking team from MDF, though, doing a better job at clearing it out. And unfortunately, Buck loses his life fighting on that main door. And another trade happening. Wow, 3v3 with halfway through this round.
Indeed, the Twitch, well, not Twitch. I think it is actually. That's trying to make our way in through the library isn't gonna try too hard if she does end up jumping back out the window. But the gridlock is going to be halfway down these blue stairs. Reclay going to be just below. Do either of them know about the other? And well, with Reclay trying to get a bit aggressive alongside the mute, obviously Shimizu is the one to fall, but does he know about Reclay and his position? The swing round is going to cause the death of his teammate, but a bit of a whiff from Reclay is going to be what ends the round, and a beautiful little return fire from Aina is going to equalize the scoreline.
Yeah, they certainly did have they certainly did have knowledge about where he was, and that was a huge whiff. Like you said, Azami likely should have won that gunfight, but like you said, Aina coming away with that win and pushing this attacking team up. We're tied up 4-4.
Indeed, we are, and I mean, like just looking at the kill counts once again, it's like it's a lot more sort of generalized on the side of Kosma, but you've got these two players, and I mean, one of them is already in double digits, the other one is pretty damn close. So we're looking at a team that definitely has their star players really showing up right now, and the opposite side, they don't really have any star players right now, but everyone's showing up to an extent. And that's a good sign for the side of Kosma.
Oh, and I think that's what they needed to do coming in as the 8th seed to take on this number 1. They needed to be balanced. They needed to have everybody contributing. You can't rely on the star power from a single player to take down a number 1 seed. The MDF, they've got a little bit more flexibility to play, maybe more to their strengths. They don't need to adapt quite as much. Or maybe just feeling overconfident because here we are tied up 4-4 heading into round 9.
Indeed, we are seeing Shimizu is the first one to actually find his footing in this round, gets aggressive outside of that trophy room window and finds a quick little kill onto the hard breach of all people. And that's going to be huge for his team. We have a beautiful little angle from Replay just watching down on towards these main stairs, and going to be potentially catching out Buck here if Buck isn't entirely careful. HCRVV going to be backing up into the angle and ends up losing his life. And now we're left in this position, a 3v5 for these attackers, 2v5 as we lose the gridlock on the opposite side. The mirror window is opened by Variox on the site itself, but now the information is going to be there for the attackers, but the man count just isn't.
Oh, and they were both outside the building, stuck outside, trying to find their way in, all up to the Twitch. And we're going to see the Kosma Gaming start being silly, throwing bodies, throwing utility, and they can afford to. They're up 5-1 on this, and what a whiff on both sides. The defender's going to take it flawlessly, though, finally, to win that engagement.
Indeed, I think both of them just kind of realized that it was kind of over, and then it wasn't. And, well, as you can see by, the final kill actually coming through from Klezri in the end, the little hipfire BM, I guess, if you want to call it that, does end up securing one more round and gets them one away from that match point scenario.
Okay, here we go, heading into round 10. Seeing Kosma Gaming, they're now one round away from match points here on the second map in this best of 3. And you know what? From the defensive setup, I like what they're bringing. A similar setup. They've been bringing, most of the rounds here, with the exception of now changing out the Mira, and they've got the mute jammers set up as their breach denial. Not seeing a lot of Bandit played, and not seeing a lot of Kaid played, even though he's available. Is that maybe a console thing as well?
Well, I don't really know, to be fair, whether it would be or not, but something that really does sort of stand out is just going to be the fact that we've got Shimizu once again sitting on a window, ready to maybe jump out on somebody here.
I would love to see that aggressive defensive play, and no, gonna grab. Oh, I thought that was the same, a double, but no, it was just a pair of kills coming out simultaneously there from two of the top frags on this attacking team. Wow, and looking like they're gonna push to get this thing evened up before Kosma can get themselves on match point.
The man on rappel, they're so close to spotting each other out. Who dares wins? It's replay that falls. Einar manages to find that kill as they were just inches away from each other, just barely unable to spot the opposite side. But Zoro going to be making his way through onto site, is going to nearly get caught out by the man on bathroom window. The Frost is going to find one for a troubles, but instead doesn't actually find any more. Variox takes a swing onto the bathroom head holes and does secure the final kill, and that's going to equalize us once again at 5-5.
Wow, what a round there from MDF. Pushing back, and again, I thought we were seeing a resurgent Cosma Gaming team put in the work, but MDF coming back strong there. They don't want to let this get to map 3. They don't want Cosma Gaming to have even a shot here on Oregon, even though that was the map that they won 7-2 on. MDF wants to finish this one out on Chalet right now, so that way they can move on in this tournament, close out the best of 3 and 2, but still got a couple rounds left on both sides. Tied up 5-5 heading into round 11. The team that wins this round goes on match point for the first time here on Chalet.
Indeed they do, and well, we're definitely seeing at least 12 rounds in this matchup right now, as we're only 2 rounds away from a potential 7-5, but also could be a full 15er if we carry on the way we're going right now. Might see all 15 rounds from this matchup, but we'll have to wait and see. We are seeing at the moment these defenders just getting on their cams and making sure that they're able to keep the information game alive for the side of Kosma, and well, this mute of Klesery is going to be in a pretty prime position as of right now. They're opening up the upstairs window on library. The rappel isn't going to quite be able to see the man it's looking for, but the player below potentially could fall or falter to the man who's holding on to the hatch.
Wanted to see, so we're playing up in the corner of library, but no, he's going to rotate out of that position here to start with, and it looks like for the most part going to try and give up most of the map control here to the attackers freely. It's just Mozzie trying to hold down that side, but saw the defender creeping through the basement, seeing whether or not there's a big flank opportunity there. We do see the attackers push through the basement site occasionally, and find a flank there from this defense.
Yeah, Zora nearly getting caught out by the main door. Alex is going to be the man that's on that position and is now going to be a little bit afraid of actually getting himself in and burst in main lobby. They do spot out the Jaeger and get him caught out on the west main stairs though, so now he's got a different threats to worry about with the Mozzie being down in this bar area. Could be caught out by the air jab that is going to be placed around that storage door, but also could see the Nomad through the angle before even having to deal with it. But
Nomad's so
down.
focused. Yeah, I mean, she's so focused on on the mute playing close to the kitchen door. Was thinking that Mozzie was going to be able to creep up behind her, but takes just a little bit too much time in the approach, and Nomad able to react and swing and get the kill there on Mozzie, putting us up 4-3 here on this attacking team, trying to get themselves on match point.
Indeed, it's now a 4 versus 2 in favor of these attackers, and well, if they're able to get themselves to match point here, this could be the very end of this matchup.
Oh,
Einar finds one, taking down Klesery, and well, it's not looking great for these defenders. They find one, but the return isn't there as Aine manages to find the final kill of this, well, round and gets
That
us to
was
the
for
point of
sure a
match point.
uh, for sure a 3K. Was that a 4K from Ina there? It was for sure a 3K. What an effort from him to get themselves up on match point for the first time. Now Cosma Gaming maybe a little bit worried. This is match point, map point, and series point here in this best of 3.
Indeed, it is a fun little long equal map as we are going to be looking at series point for the side of MDF and potentially going to be moving it even further forward if Kosma are able to get themselves back into this. They do have the defense to start with, and they are going to be going to this bar gaming site, so most likely going to be seeing them in their element right now as well. We have the mirror, everything to lose coming into this playoffs, as they are going to be really wanting to try and get themselves through and onto this final finals, I guess. Get themselves through as far as they can go down the ladder, and obviously no one wants their run to end straight away.
Absolutely. This defense, though, bringing out a really balanced lineup, right? The traps from Frost,
Yeah.
the swing from Warden, the architect from Azami, the intel from Mazi, and the protectionism there from Mira. And imagine we're going to see them set up. There's a lot of options that they've got for holding this library. You've got the Kiba up. No Mira upstairs on the library window. I thought we might see its place, but it's in the closet instead. So going to rely on the Kibas to try and hold down this mirror as long as, or hold down this library hold as long as they can.
I want to see a bit more of this playmaking Brazilian style from the side of Cosmo because it does seem to be working for them. And I think with MDF being a very perfectionist style team, they kind of struggle with a team that really wants to just be aggressive and make plays and things like that. And obviously, yes, you've got players like Variox on 12 kills and Aina on 17 kills, which could be a bit scary for these defenders. They definitely need to try and force the issue here, I think. And, well, as Shimizu goes in and tries to do that for himself, he gets caught out. Ash going to be making her way through onto the site itself, has found two. That's going to be three down, a third in the pocket of the Ash. And now this 1v5 situation going to be left all down to Replay. Replay finds two, tries to take the rotation across and loses out to the ace, the final player I was going to say, but he wasn't the final player. It was the ace in that 3 versus 1. And, well, we do see MDF coming out for a 7-5 and, well, finding the series for themselves in just 2 maps.
All they needed to make it happen. 2 maps here on Chalet and Ina 17-5-1 as they made it into that map. What a round there from them to clean it up. Like you said, they did it into 7-2 on Consulate, 7-5 on Chalet. What a great effort from that MDF team and Cosma Gaming. Unfortunate to see them lose early in this round, like you said, but congrats, big GGs to the winners, MDF.
I mean, yeah, it's absolutely crazy that we've seen such a close matchup between first and eighth. Obviously, the underdogs doing so well in order to actually make MDF look human in this matchup. And I think that is like a really good thing for the rest of the teams in the league and also just in the running up. Because as soon as they come out of this next matchup, obviously, I think we have a bracket that we can show. Obviously, it possibly won't be updated with the game that has just been played. Yeah, it's not going to be updated with the game that has just been played, but we can see where they're going to be. So MDF are going to be moving forward into the match that's going to be playing against the winners of F7 versus E-Wave. So they're going to be moving into that semi-final, and then on the later end of the week, you're going to be seeing NIP versus Entropy and LDL versus Mafia Squad. So they're going to be, again, more matches that are going to be absolutely phenomenal to watch. And I think that we're going to have some very close games. I already have my sort of predicted winners for the finals. I think I know which team is going to make it all the way, and we'll have to wait and see. I won't spoil that just yet, but I'm sure
Oh, you're not
production.
gonna
I'm
give
sure
your
production knows.
pre
I'm I'm a very big fan of this team at the moment, and I think that they could definitely pull it forward. They haven't played yet, but they will be soon. So
That's a that 7-5 victory there. I mean, when you look at that score line, it feels more one-sided than the game we saw, right? That really was a great back and forth effort. Kosma really trying to hang on, taking it all the way to that 5-5 tie-up, and felt really good going into that. It wasn't like lopsided where you had a huge advantage and the other team came back. They were playing sight for sight, play for play all the way through that to the back and forth we wanted to see. But MDF just a little bit more in tune with themselves and their play style coming together for a win there. Chalet. It was a great match. Glad I had the opportunity to fill in and be a part of the ESA Cup today.
well, I'm glad we got to have you as well. We are at the end of this matchup, and well, we are going to be seeing more and more over the next couple of days. I hope you guys are excited, and I hope you guys are really heavily anticipating rooting for whoever you want to root for. I know there's going to be some people disappointed in the chat right now, but I know there's going to be just as many that are happy that MDF are through. And well, with them being the favorites for the tournament or one of, they're going to be very happy with that win as well. So we're going to be seeing you another time. I hope you enjoyed the stream. GG's, we love you, and peace.
Let's go.